I'm hunting like 30 minutes, and I look down, there's a beagle at the base of my tree. Look behind him, and here comes game warden, please come down. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
The next day?
The next morning.
After the call?
After the call. The next morning, somebody called the game warden on me.
We got to talk about the deer
Okay.
now. We've drugged people along for like 40 minutes. We got to talk about the deer.
Again, we're talking permission property here.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to everybody, because some people get real upset. Not very small minority. I'm looking at everybody on the camera right now. Real small minority people hate when we have a guy on who hunts private land that has killed big deer. Because it's like, oh man, well, it's private. I can't go get, you can't go out there. It's not public land. Well, you picked this up. I mean, it's not like you have a bunch of money tied up in leases or a nice hunting club or a big family
$0.
property
I spent $0 for everybody who's
to kill a 170 plus inch deer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we made that correct. Clear for everybody watching and listening.
Jacob's getting the comments riled up.
Yeah.
So how'd the story of this deer start?
I start to look at the map, and I'm like, okay, there's a couple fingers of timber going off this way. They'd have to cross a road this way, and then it got into the more rural side of town. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to door knock on every piece of timber within a mile of this place, because during the rut, they're not staying on 250 acres. Like, I will eventually get a chance. It's an outside chance, but I'm going to get on this deer. So I door knock on some places, and if you look at my map, I literally highlighted like 40 properties. And I said, I'm door knocking on every single one. And the first place I knock, I just knew it was great. And another hunter hunted there, but he was real nice. And so, yeah, there's some nice deer back here. I have 2 nice deer, and there were 2 nice deer. So I figured that these deer were going over. So I kept door knocking, and I went 4 for 4. So I went 0 for 1, and I went 4 for my next 4 permission around there, which I was super pumped about. Because, I mean, it is a pressured area.
Oh, my God.
I go 4 for 4 on, most of them are like 5 acre pieces.
Yeah,
it's very parceled up in this area, but I go 4 for 4. And I'm like, you know what? I'm in the game. I don't have enough cameras to door knock, so I stopped door knocking. I mean, they were in prime areas where I got permission. And an old lady, and I keep hearing rumors like, man, there's a big deer. There's a big deer I'm seeing around here. And at that point, I'm like, when an old lady says there's a big deer, is it a 110-inch 8-pointer or is it a 200-inch deer? Like, you have no idea. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I got a chance at this 8-pointer, and there's some other nice deer on that farm. Like, I'm in the game here. And, one guy had said, there's a 12-pointer. And I was like, what? Like, okay, maybe. Like, but until you put eyes on them, they're just ghosts. It's an idea of the deer. So I put cameras out, and we had already talked about it a little bit. Put cameras out, had some decent deer, had heard rumors, and where I had permission on 2 or 3 acres was adjacent to this big oak flat. And adjacent to this, like, 30 acres that a lady, an old recluse owned. Her mom had passed away. Nobody can get into touch with her. I knocked on her door like 5 times, literally, to try to get permission, because I knew that if there was a big deer in the area, it was bedded. It was an old pasture that nobody had touched since 2009. So it was grown up, kind of like, think clear cut, like can't even walk through without making noise. I knew that if there was a big deer in the area, it was bedded here. I had permission on one place touching it, a 5 acre piece touching it, and then the other place was the cattle farm. Where I ended up catching up to him, and he had 1 tree line. And so I put a camera on that, that like 5 acres, and I got pictures of his cows. And that's when I had talked to him, about accessing. And then made a mock scrape, had a couple more permission pieces, had made a mock scrape, put cameras kind of all over the place. And at this point, it's November 6th, and we got a cold front, our first real cold front. And it's like, 30, it's dropping, but I'm playing football. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm not hunting. We get Sundays off, kind of, and that's the only day I can hunt. Like, we have lifts in the morning and practice in the afternoon, so I can't hunt. And so I'm just watching the cameras, and it's cold, and I can feel the temperature dropping. I'm at practice, and I'm just like, I should be in the tree stand right now. Like I mean, it's my senior year. I love football. Like, I don't want, like, football is a huge passion of mine. But as a quarterback, you owe it to the other 100 guys to put your time in, because they don't care about deer hunting. All they care about is winning games. I have coaches that jobs depend on it. Like, so I can't, in good conscience, spend my time chasing a deer. I have to. That's my job. And so I'm like, it's Thursday evening. I'm like, we leave Friday for an away trip. Friday morning, I'm like, I should be in this. I should be in the stand. And I get out of practice, and I mean, as soon as practice is over, I'm at the car on my phone every day, and I open it up, and literally like 10 minutes before, I can see the icon of just like a huge deer, and I open it. And my buddy Logan White was with me the whole time. Helped me get permission on the first piece. He lended me some cameras to run. He was filming for me a little bit, and he played football with me. I'm like, Logan, come here! And I called him like 3 times. He finally answered. I'm like, look at Moultrie, and it was him hitting the mock scrape in broad daylight. And I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, it was his camera. I'm like, request the video, please request the video. And so there he is, you know, in all of his glory, hitting the scrape November 6th. And like at that point it was on. I'm carving out any hour that I can think, can I sit this day? The hard part about this property was he's living. And so we took some of the cameras and kind of surrounded the property. And by this time I had gotten permission on the cattle farm. Mm-hmm. But there was another guy hunting the cattle farm that I didn't want to step on his toes. He was hunting him. He knew the deer. Really cool with me. We shared trail camera pictures, and so I wasn't hunting the whole farm. I told him like I just want to stick on this tree line to where I have, you know, close to where I have permission, you know. But he was like, that's totally fine. He was really cool about it. But we kind of put cameras around, and we started getting pictures of this deer almost every day, like daylight. Like he's bedding in that thicket. What's
the habitat like on the cattle farm? Is he bedding on the cattle farm?
No. So he's batting on the recluses on the lady's land.
Okay.
And nobody can get permission. Everybody's trying to get permission. Nobody can talk to her. She won't even to sell the land. Like nobody can talk. So there's no pressure on that land. It's like 25 acres of basically clear cut. Think of clear cut 15 years later. Mm-hmm. Like just high stem count. You wouldn't be able to walk through there without making a racket. Like unhuntable. But there's like 5 acres of pure oak flat. Where in it we had a really good acorn crop this year, and so it's dropping acorn. So he's, you know, and I got permission, you know, right on the edge of both of those. So I'm getting deer that are, you know, making the rounds, and so I know what's in there, and I'm getting pictures of him.
And you didn't know anything about this deer. You'd heard some stories,
heard some rumors.
But when you get that first photo,
oh my gosh, it's like it's real. It's like it's real. And like we're halfway through the season at this point. I'm like, can I quit football? Like I'm like, this is like all I could think of. I mean,
I wanted to ask if it affected your
performance.
The performance. Did it affect the record of UNA this year?
No, we weren't very good anyway. But it affected my mentality. I mean, I'd be sitting. I'd come in. I'd get a morning hunting and come right into meetings, like whatever I could. Like I was trying to hunt this deer. But the main thing that I focused on was like, you know, I've started a habitat management company since then, and the big thing I talk to landowners about is like that most people don't understand, especially when you're hunting. I'm basically hunting like 5 acres for this deer. Like you cannot hunt just because the season's open. And the hard part for me is I only get 1 day to hunt. But if the wind's not right on that Sunday, I can't hunt it. And I was, you know, it was very hard for me to have that discipline, but I attribute having that discipline to eventually killing this deer. It's like I can't hunt him just because I have the time. And so I let the cameras work for me, and I hunted a couple evenings because Alabama rut is later. And, you know, but it's so property to property. So I'm like, this was a little earlier. I mean, the rut for these deer was like early December. Mm-hmm. So it's still early season for me, November. But I timed my first sit with the cold front, and it was like 22 degrees, like real cold. And I actually went in on a morning and got in there real early, and his tree line bedded right up against the bedding. And so I thought, you know, I'm going to catch him come sneaking back into bedding. That's the idea. We're getting pictures of him. I know he's in the area, and the first deer we see is him coming up. I'm sitting in my saddle looking this way. My buddy's looking this way, and I looked over his shoulder. He's like 150 yards stepping out of the... So the cattle farm was cattle farm, and then probably like 30 acres of woods. So I wasn't hunting the woods, but I knew that it pinches down at, you know, so I was kind of hunting where the pinch was. And he's coming over the hill, bumping a doe, which was kind of early for that part of Alabama, but he's bumping a doe, and he actually gets to where he's coming right at us, and he caught our wind was blowing into the cattle field because I couldn't blow it into the bedding. There was like one wind I could hunt this tree line on, and he circled all the way around where I did not expect him to come just because of the doe, and he caught the wind, ran back to the field, but the doe didn't catch me with my wind. And he stood there for like 10 minutes, and he turns around and he runs right back. Came right back to the doe. He just caught the edge of our wind, and I think, and it didn't really know what was going on. Kind of like looked around, jogged off, came right back.
That doe had to be hot. He's like, I ain't leaving her. What was
Had to have been. The first, I think I saw for the first day, like November 10th? No. Yeah, no, like November 10th.
Wow.
Like November 10th, somewhere around there. And so he was kind of pushing this doe. I really think he was just checking the doe. There was 2 or 3 does in the field. He was just kind of checking. He hadn't gotten to check the other 2. So he just kind of came back, checked the does. Doe gets pushed almost right past us. And I'm like, we're about to shoot this deer at 10 yards on our first hunt. And he ended up just going back into the bedding. Bumped the does. I guess the does weren't hot. He goes back into the bedding. And I thought he was going to keep cruising the way he was acting, but he actually went in and laid down. And unfortunately, our only entry and exit to that property is through the cattle field. And we actually bumped him getting out. We tried to make a big loop in the field, and I think he just saw us, and we heard him bound off, and it was exactly where he went in. We didn't get a picture of him for like 5 days. And you want to talk about anxiety, because this deer is known. So I saw him that's the second time I saw him. But there's 10 or 12 guys that are hunting this deer, and I knew about it, and they knew about this deer. So I'm panicking. I'm going to football, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to die today.
Yeah, any day.
So it went from checking trail cam pictures to checking
Social.
I knew that if a deer like this gets killed, my heart rate is through the roof after practice when I check my phone, is he dead? Is he dead? And then I get no notifications, let's go, he's still alive. Then about 5 days later, I got a picture of him, and I got my Sunday off. We went in there, saw some nice deer, saw another really big deer that I ended up passing on, just because I was hunting this deer. And gun season is now a week away. It's November 15th. And I have a week. We have a lighter, we had I had more time to hunt, basically. I was able to start to hunt some mornings, and I was comfortable enough where they were off the food pattern, and they were starting to bump around does. Actually, I sat on the ground and watched 2 bucks brawl at 4 yards. One morning. So they're starting to really get into it. So I went in and hunted. I was comfortable enough to start hunting mornings. And I walked in, and I was like, I have to be in the stand. The wind was right for 3 or 4 days in a row. It's I have to be in the woods, even if it's 2 hours before lift. So my lift group was at 9 o'clock, and it's light at 6. So I'm I can hunt for an hour and 45 minutes. But I was hunting pretty conservatively because I couldn't get into the thick of it and then not be able to get out. So I'm I want to at least keep tabs on him, at least see him. And it was 65 degrees the first morning I went in there in that time frame. And the first time I overslept my alarm. My alarm didn't go off, whatever. I think I forgot to charge my phone. And I wake up and it's getting light outside. I'm like, crap. But it's only 8 minutes from my apartment. Mm-hmm. So I hop in the truck, got to the gate where I parked. I start walking in, it's getting light at this point, and there were 2 does in the field. So I just sat down 30 yards from my truck, just tucked up against a cedar tree, some overhang. And I was like, I'll just watch this morning. And I'm legitimately 40 yards away from the road, from where I parked. I'm nothing's gonna happen. So I actually get on my phone for 2 minutes, and I look up, and he's standing at 58 yards. I'm on the ground, no blind. I don't have an arrow knocked. I was just there's no way. I knock an arrow, and he's walking straight at me. No blind, arrow. I'm trying to set up my camera, on the ground. I didn't have the tripod. I'm trying to set up the camera, set up the 360 camera, whatever I could get. It was so foggy. I'm waiting for him to walk by. He was actually turned walking away, but it was so foggy I couldn't tell which way he was turned. So, my heart rate is through the roof. And as the morning went on, I watched, that's the morning I saw a couple bucks fighting, and it was a great morning. But, I saw him, and an hour and a half later, I had a picture on another property 2 miles away. So he was making the rounds, and it is rural this side, but the road kind of separated the rural from the urban. So all of a sudden, all of the city is talking about this deer. Everybody's have you seen that deer that's on? And I have not told a soul about this deer except Logan. I do not want other people hunting, but at this time, it's wide open, and here comes gun season. But I had committed in a bait state that I was going to kill it with a bow no matter. I was going to bow hunt it no matter what, and I wasn't going to do it in bait over bait, and I want to get it on film. Because I did know that you kill a deer like this, opportunities come. I wanted to be able to stand on. I didn't just kill it over a bait pile. I knew what I was doing, and I strategically killed this deer. Didn't want to kill it over a bait pile with a gun. And So and that's just what I get tickled. I mean, for me, it's about the chase. It's not about, like we were talking today. You kill a mature deer that's a 120-inch deer. That is, for me, that's just as big of a trophy as this deer. He just happened to grow more into his antler, but the chase is the same. And putting the puzzle pieces together is what tickles me. And so that's what I was excited about. And hunted him a couple more times that week. That week, didn't see him. Had my senior day on Saturday, and that was opening day of gun season. And I told Logan, I said, he won't live through this weekend. I mean, he just won't. Everybody's hunting this deer, and so, you know, one of the guys hunting called him Waldo. He said everybody's wondering where Waldo is, and so like the whole city. I mean, this is a huge thing, and so hunted the third day that week, and was sitting on the ground again. Just wasn't right for me to get in. I'm just really trying to keep tabs on it, and I looked back and I was like, did I leave my car lights on? And I put them through binoculars, and there's 2 police cars at my car, and I was like, what the heck? So I'm like, of course. So I get out, walk up, and the police are like, what's your name? You're not allowed to be here. Like, I have written permission from the landowner. I'm allowed to be here. Like, what the heck? And some guy pulls up behind the cops, and he's like, you're on my land, blah, blah, blah. Turns out it was neighbors, two neighbors over. So I'm like 800 yards from this guy's property. But his wife had called him and thought I was parked in a very visible spot. Like, everybody knew I was hunting. But he called the cops on me for being parked on his neighbor's property. And so I had to call the landowner. The police called the landowner. And it just was a whole big stink. So everybody knows about this deer. Everybody's guarding this deer like crazy landowner. So I'm dealing with it. So next morning
How was that conversation with the landowner gave you permission? Like, because I'm sure he didn't want the attention. He was like, well, what the heck? I mean, it probably crossed his mind like, maybe I should just not give this guy
That's what I was worried about. That's what I was so frustrated about. I was seriously like thinking about like coming at this guy for hunter harassment. Like, I'm like, you're going to cost me an opportunity at a buck of a lifetime. I was really upset. Reached out to the guy and ended up working it out with the guy who called the cops. I got his number. But the landowner, called me and was like, how much longer are you going to be hunting this deer? And I have to give a lot of credit to this landowner. He is genuinely probably the most down-to-earth, nicest guy I've ever met. And he is so gracious. He went through a lot of crap, as I did too, but he went through a lot of crap. He said he had like 20 guys calling for permission on this deer. People calling him because the cops are coming. People calling him because I'm parked at his gate. Like, he took a lot of phone calls that he didn't have to take. So I have to give him a lot of credit. This is his deer as much as it is. He didn't hunt, but this is his deer as much as it is mine. He was so generous because he easily could have said, hey. But the next morning the wind shifted and I had to access from a different side. And I'm hunting like 30 minutes and I look down, there's a beagle at the base of my tree. Look behind him and here comes game warden, please come down. I'm like, oh my gosh.
The next day?
The next morning.
After the cop?
After the cop. The next morning, somebody called the game warden on me.
What?
Because they had seen my truck and they thought that I was poaching on the recluse's land that didn't get everybody permission. Kind of everybody knew nobody got permission. So they just assumed that's where I was hunting. It's like, I need to see your written permission. I need to see your, do you have permission to park here? Blah, blah, blah. And it was just unbelievable. So that ruined my hunt that morning. And I ended up having to get out of the tree and go to football.
When this is happening, like the cop the day before and then the game warden the following day, it's crazy. Were you still getting this buck on camera, or did he like disappear at this point?
I was getting him on camera. I had him on camera that evening. So in between, I had him on camera that evening. So I knew he was in the area, but he's cruising at this point. So it's just like a numbers game. Got to put in as many sits as I can. It's the right time. Like, just got to do it. I mean, it's like 65, 70 degrees. Like, but I'm just like, I got to be in the tree when the wind's right. And it was just an annoyance more than anything. I'm just like, I have to deal with this. Got to tell the landowner about this. Got to have uncomfortable conversation. I'm like, this is ridiculous. At that point, I knew if I killed this deer, like, all heck was going to break loose. Like, it was going to be crazy. And so that was Friday or that was Thursday. Didn't hunt Friday. Saturday is senior day at home. Sunday morning, I'm back in the tree. And I got in late and it was breaking daylight by the time I got set up. I get all set up, hunt out of saddle, get all set up. I looked down and I'd forgotten to connect my bow hoist. So I climbed back down, got my bow, put my bow on the bow arm, and I knocked my camera arm out of the tree. So I climbed down, get my camera arm, put my camera arm in, put the camera on the camera arm, and I look up, and there's a buck cruising the opposite tree line where I'd seen him the first time. And it was so foggy again, I could just see antlers. And I was like, that's probably him. I texted my dad, I said, shoot her. And I just knew it was. And I grunted a couple times, just with my mouth. just as loud as I could with my mouth. He answered me. And he comes up over the hill at like, there's a little roll in the cattle field. He comes over the hill like 100 yards, and it's him just in all of his glory. And I mean, I'm like scrambling to punch the record button on the camera. And like, I have this reoccurring dream that I can't get my bow release clipped when a deer is there. And so he's now running at me. Like, now I think he's coming to check the doe bedding. I'm not going to say I called him in, but he answered me. It was, I mean, craziest experience of my life. And so he comes over the hill, and all of a sudden, like, I have to get my bow, look down at my bow. I'm trying to self-film the whole thing. And he's coming, and I thought he was going to come to the left of the tree, and he came to the right of the tree. And on the right of the tree, I had one like clearing in the brush, in the branches. And I ranged it, and it's at 58. And because I had seen him at 58 yards the day before, I had gone back and I had practiced. I've shot deer at that distance. I don't like it, but I was like, it's gun season. If I get a shot at 58, I'm comfortable making that shot. And I'm, I can shoot that distance, but right conditions, everything. He goes behind the tree. I put the camera over, and I knew I was gonna have like 3 seconds to stop him and get my release clipped. And I look down, and I cannot get my release clipped. I'm like panicking. I'm like trying to get it clipped, and finally I get it clipped, and I actually stopped him. Like I guess I was tracking in my head. I stopped him while I'm trying. I was like, man, and I looked up, and he stopped in the window, like perfectly in the window. Quartered to a little bit. I drew back. When I drew back, I hit my camera arm, so I didn't get the shot on film. But I did get everything I'm talking about. I did get on film, and it's on my YouTube channel. So you can go watch. Anybody's watching can go watch it. But I settle it, and the pin is like this. Like I'm panic. Like this is pandemonium. I shifted in my saddle, and I settled the pin. And it was quartered to just a little bit, and so I shot, and it felt like that arrow. I've got Luminox on it. It felt like that arrow traveled for 10 seconds, and he ducked, and it spined him, and he dropped. I mean, he just dropped right there. Just dropped, and I very quickly got out of the tree and put another arrow in him, and then all the emotions started flowing. And that was it. I was very thankful he didn't run over. Honestly, It was a blessing and a curse. You don't want to see a deer suffer even for 30 seconds, but it was a blessing. I was able to put another arrow in him real quick, and that he didn't run onto the neighbor's property, because that could have I don't know if he'd let me go get him. So like it was a blessing, and just can't thank the landowner enough, and everybody who helped me, and then all.
What was the emotions after that first initial shot, and you saw him go down, and you realized you spined him, but like, because listen, I just shot not even close to this. Yeah. I just shot a nice buck, but not even close to this. Like yesterday, and I'm losing my mind because I dropped him, shot him with a muzzleloader.
Sweet.
Okay,
yeah.
And I dropped him.
Yeah.
But I'm like losing my mind because I'm like, he might get back up or whatever. And I'm like trying to get down the tree.
Yeah.
And anyways, how was it you trying to get out of the tree after that initial shot?
I legitimately, I have a Insta360 camera that I didn't even get time to turn on. Usually I'd have a second angle. I threw it out of the tree. Like legitimately threw it out of my tree. Like I'm like, I blinked and I was at the base of the tree. Like I don't even know how I got down there. I don't know. I blacked out. And
Fireman pulled down that tree.
you can hear me on the video. I shot a booter. Like I'm freaking out. And because I knew it was over at that point. Like I knew that I had done it, but I don't know. It was a blur. I mean, but I'm at the bottom of the base of the tree, and then just walked out to him. Bittersweet to look at a deer like that in the eye as it's dying. I mean, I hit an artery; it would have died very quickly if it was pouring blood. But was able to put another arrow in him, and it was just then all the emotions hit you. Like, man, did I really just do this? Like, is this real? And it took me a second to even put my hands on him. And it's like 6:30, and we had a game like the night before, like a night game, and so nobody's awake. So I don't have a car that I could put him in. So I had to sit there for 2 hours before anybody woke up. I called Logan like 15 times. And so I sat there with him for like 2 hours and just took it in, and